the 3 worst and 4 best Toyota SUVs to own long-term in 2026. Buy before prices go up. In February, a senior vice president at Toyota's North American operations stood in front of a room full of dealers and said something the company does not usually say out loud. Toyota is planning 3 price increases in 2026. Not the usual 2. 3. He said he had not seen pricing behave like this in over 30 years with the company. So the title of this video is not a sales trick, it is the calendar. But here is the part that actually got my attention this week. Every article you have read about Toyota Sport Utility longevity quotes the same statistic. The Toyota Sequoia has a 39% chance of reaching 250,000 miles, more than 8 times the average vehicle. That number is real. It comes from iSeeCars, and they ran it across more than 170 million vehicles. That number describes a truck Toyota does not sell anymore. Today, I am going to show you the 3 Toyota Sport Utilities I would not buy if I intended to keep it 15 years, and the 4 I would, with the exact trim and the exact price. Number 1 on the good list is not the one you are expecting, and it is not new. Before we start, the rules I used. To make either list, a vehicle had to clear 4 bars. First, a powertrain with real road miles behind it, not a first-year engine with a press release for a track record. Second, an honest out-the-door number, including the delivery fee you cannot decline. Third, resale that holds, because the money you get back at the end is money you spent at the beginning. And fourth, repair costs an ordinary person can survive without selling something. 4 bars. Nothing about horsepower. Nothing about how it looks in the driveway. If that sounds like your kind of math, subscribe. I do this every week, and the whole point of the channel is that somebody should be doing the homework before you sign, and it should not have to be you. Let's start with the ones I would walk past. Third on the bad list, and this one is quick. Toyota brought the CHR back this year, and it came back electric. $38,450 to start with delivery. Load 1 the way people actually load them, and you are at $43,000. Now walk 40 feet down the same lot. The RAV4 starts at $33,495, and it is longer, wider, and taller. Same badge, same dealer, same afternoon. And the smaller vehicle costs $5,000 more. The federal electric vehicle credit that used to paper over a gap like that ended on September 30th of 2025. There is no $7,500 waiting at tax time to fix this arithmetic anymore. Verdict: if you want a small Toyota with a high seat and cheap running costs, buy the Corolla Cross Hybrid and keep the difference. If you specifically want a Toyota electric, stay with me. Because 2 minutes from now, I am going to show you why you lease one and never own one. And here is something worth more than the CHR conversation. Never negotiate a price. Negotiate an out-the-door figure. In writing. By email, before you drive over. Sticker, delivery, documentation fee, every add-on. The total. 1 sentence sent from your kitchen table, and it turns a 4-hour afternoon into a 20-minute pickup. The dealership that will not answer that email has told you everything. That is the kind of thing I put into the 500,000 miles car care Bible. The mechanic decoder in there is 30 things a service counter will tell you, what is actually true, and the sentence to say back. There is also a printable 20-point used car inspection, which you are going to want for my number 1 pick today. $27, which is less than most shops charge just to look at your car. Scan the code, use the link below, or go to carcarebible.com. Now, the second one I would not buy, the Sequoia. This hurts because the old one earned every bit of that reputation. The 2008 through 2022 trucks ran a 5.7-liter V8, an independent rear suspension, and a build quality that put it at the top of the longevity charts and kept it there. Those trucks are still on the road with 300,000 miles on them. 1% of them have crossed 296,000. The truck sitting on the lot right now is a different animal wearing the same name. Toyota redesigned it for 2023 on the Tundra platform. Out went the V8. In came a 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 with a hybrid motor, 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque. Genuinely fast. I am not going to pretend otherwise. Out also went the independent rear suspension, replaced by a solid rear axle. Let me explain why that matters, because it does not sound like it should. A solid rear axle is one heavy beam running across the truck with a wheel bolted to each end. Simple, strong, cheap to build, and it takes up a lot of vertical room right where your suitcases want to go. Now put the hybrid battery under the cargo floor on top of that. Two big objects fighting for the same space, and the floor has to rise to clear both of them. The result is 11.5 cubic feet behind the third row. That is the worst cargo space in the full-size class. A Chevrolet Tahoe, a Ford Expedition, a Jeep Wagoneer, every one of them gives you more. You can slide the third row forward to get to 22, and then nobody can sit in it. Consumer Reports called this generation outdated on arrival and rated its ride unsettled, with too much shudder and jiggle. Their predicted reliability for the 2026 model is average. Average. On a Toyota. Take the badge off the table for a moment. The question is never whether a Toyota is good. It is whether this particular Toyota is better for you than what else your money will buy. $65,700 gets you in the door. The loaded capstone runs about $86,500, and one reviewer's test truck came to nearly $90,000 with paint and towing mirrors. The delivery fee alone on a Sequoia is $2,195. Then there is fuel. 19 in the city, 22 on the highway, 20 combined with four-wheel drive. That is respectable for a full-size truck, and it is still 20. The national average for regular gasoline this week is $4.10 a gallon, which is the highest it has ever been in an August. So, 12,000 miles a year in a Sequoia costs you roughly $2,460 at the pump. The Grand Highlander Hybrid, which is coming up later on the good list, does that same year for about $1,450. Call the gap $1,000 a year. Keep the truck 15 years, and you have handed a gas station $15,000 for the privilege of a smaller trunk. And one more thing I cannot ignore. That twin-turbo V6 family has a documented failure history in the Tundra it shares parts with. Toyota recalled around 100,000 of those trucks for machining debris left inside the engine. There is a widely reported case of a Tundra owner losing the engine at 44,000 miles to bearing failure, with debris found inside. Toyota replaced it and handled him well, which is to their credit. But the Sequoia Hybrid has only been on the road since 2023, and every high-mileage number people quote about this nameplate was earned by an engine that is no longer in it. Verdict: if you tow 9,000 pounds on a regular basis, the Sequoia is defensible, and I will not argue with you. If you do not, you are paying full-size money for the smallest cargo hold in the class, and a powertrain with 4 years of history. Buy the Grand Highlander Hybrid and put the $15,000 in fuel savings somewhere useful. Which brings me to the worst one on the list, and it is not close. The Toyota BZ and the BZ4X it replaced. I want to be careful here, because this is not a bad vehicle to drive. It is a bad vehicle to own, and those are different things. Kelley Blue Book has the numbers on the 2023 BZ4X. $45,295 new. Today, 3 years later, the private party resale value is $18,850. Trade-in is $17,000. That is $26,445 gone. 58% in 36 months. It sits in the bottom quarter of every 2023 sport utility for value retention. $8,800 a year. Evaporating, while it sat in the driveway doing nothing wrong. CarEdge ranked it 169th out of 185 vehicles for 3-year depreciation. iSeeCars puts the 5-year loss around 46%. Whichever source you prefer, the story is the same, and the Toyota badge did not save it. That is the thing people get wrong. They assume the reputation transfers. On this one, it did not. Then, on June 18th of this year, Toyota recalled about 16,200 2026 BZ and Lexus vehicles. The control module for the drive battery can throw an error that shuts the electric drive system down. Steering and braking keep working, but the vehicle can lose motive power at highway speed. The fix is a software update at the dealer, free, and owners were notified by the middle of August. Toyota caught it and moved on it, and that is how the system is supposed to work. But stack it up. A first-generation platform. A powertrain the used market has not learned to price yet. No federal credit since last September. And a drive component warranty that runs 8 years or 100,000 miles, not the 10 years and 150,000 the gasoline hybrids get. Verdict: do not buy one new. If you want this vehicle, lease it and let Toyota carry the depreciation. Or buy a 3-year-old one at half price with your eyes open, because at $18,000 the math finally works in your favor instead of against you. What you should never do is finance a new one over 72 months. Somewhere around month 40, you will owe more than it is worth by a margin that will make you sick. All right, put the bad news down. Everything up to here was about not losing money. From here forward, it is about what I would actually spend it on. And there are 4 of them. If you have made it this far, you are the reason I do this instead of reading press releases into a microphone. Hit subscribe. The next half of this video is where the money actually gets saved. Number 4. The Corolla Cross Hybrid. This one nearly did not make the list, because for years I thought it was too small to be the answer to anything. I was wrong about the reason it matters. It is not the size. It is the arithmetic. $30,845 to start. 42 miles per gallon combined, and all-wheel drive is standard, which almost nobody in this segment can say. 46 in the city, 39 on the highway. Compare that to the gasoline Corolla Cross with all-wheel drive, which returns 30 combined. 12,000 miles a year at $4.10 a gallon. The hybrid burns about $1,170 of fuel. The gas version about $1,640. You save roughly $470 a year. The hybrid costs about $2,500 more upfront, so it pays itself back a little past year 5. Keep it 15 years, and the last 10 are free money. That is the whole hybrid argument in one paragraph, and notice that it is a math argument, not an environmental one. This channel does not care why you buy it. It cares what it costs you. Verdict: the S trim, all-wheel drive. And do not let anybody sell you the top trim, which mostly buys you wheels. If you are downsizing out of a bigger vehicle, and you want the parking spot back without giving up a high seat, this is the cheapest honest way into a Toyota hybrid drivetrain. Number 3. The RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota redesigned it for 2026 and did something I did not expect. They killed the gasoline-only version entirely. Every single RAV4 sold in this country now has a hybrid drivetrain. And the 5th generation of that system is the one with about a decade of road data behind it. $31,900 for the base, plus $1,450 for delivery. $33,350 is your honest starting number. 47 in the city, 40 on the highway. 43 combined with front-wheel drive. Add all-wheel drive and you land at 42, which is identical to the smaller, cheaper Corolla Cross. Most people assume the little one is the thrifty one. On this pair, it simply is not. Now the question I get more than any other about hybrids: And it deserves a straight answer. The battery. Out of warranty, replacing one runs $3,000 to $8,000. That is a real number, and I am not going to soften it. Here is the part the worrying usually skips. On 2020 models and newer, Toyota covers that battery for 10 years or 150,000 miles. The inverter and the control components carry 8 years or 100,000. Now line that up against how long the batteries actually last, which is generally 150 to 200,000 miles. The coverage runs right through the entire window where a failure would be a real financial event. And it transfers to the next owner for nothing. That is not marketing. That is Toyota putting their own money behind the exact part everybody is afraid of. Verdict. The base trim or one step up in whatever drive configuration your winters require. And do not pay $49,950 for the plug-in hybrid sport trim. That is $16,600 over the base RAV4. And at current fuel prices, you will not see that money again in your lifetime or your children's. If there is a leftover 2025 RAV4 Hybrid on the same lot, look at it hard. Proven body, proven drivetrain, and somebody else already ate the first-year discount. 2 left. And the top one is the one I would put my own money into. Number 2, the Grand Highlander Hybrid. In the most recent Consumer Reports Reliability Survey, this was the most reliable vehicle in its entire category. Not good for a 3-row. The best one they measured, $45,610 to start. The standard hybrid returns 36 combined with front-wheel drive, 34 with all-wheel drive. Third row an adult can actually sit in, which is the entire reason this vehicle exists, and the reason I would take it over its own smaller sibling. Speaking of which, the regular Highlander for 2026 went up in a way most buyers will never notice. Toyota deleted the base trim and made all-wheel drive standard. And the entry price went from $41,815 to $46,765. Nearly $5,000. And the metal barely changed. To be fair, you do get all-wheel drive for it. To be fairer, you were not given the option to say no. Now, the honest part, and it is a safety recall, so I am going to give it to you straight. On July 8th of this year, Toyota recalled about 5,400 2026 Grand Highlanders and Lexus vehicles. The rear axle carriers on those units may not have been manufactured properly, and a carrier can break at an attachment point, which affects rear stability. Dealers inspect the part and replace it at no charge. Owners are being notified by early September. 5,400 units out of a very large production run. This is not the story of the vehicle. But it is your business if you own one, and the fix is free. So here is a habit worth more than this video. Twice a year, put your vehicle identification number into the Federal Recall Database at the Safety Administration website. It takes 90 seconds, it is free, it covers every open campaign on your specific vehicle, and it works on anything with wheels for the rest of your life. Most people never do it once. Recall completion rates in this country are terrible. And it is not because owners do not care. It is because the letter arrived the same week as 3 pieces of junk mail. Verdict. The mid-level hybrid trim with all-wheel drive. Skip the more powerful turbocharged hybrid version. It costs more, it drops you from 36 miles per gallon to 27. And unless you are towing 5,000 pounds, you are buying acceleration you will use 4 times a year. 1 left. And I have been holding it back, because it is the only pick on this list where the right answer is not on the new car lot at all. And now, number 1. The one I would buy. The 4Runner. And not the new one. Let me give you the case for the nameplate first because it is overwhelming. iSeeCars puts the 4Runner second on the entire longest-lasting vehicle list, with a 33% chance of reaching 250,000 miles. That is roughly 7 times what an average vehicle manages. The same firm ranks it first among midsize sport utilities for reliability and first among them for resale value. Kelley Blue Book handed it a Best Resale Value award and calls it the strongest value-holding new sport utility on the market in 2026. RepairPal puts its annual repair bill below the midsize average. That is not one website being enthusiastic. That is 4 separate data sets, built from different information, landing on the same vehicle. Now the complication. Toyota redesigned the 4Runner for 2025. Outwent the 4.0-liter V6 and the 5-speed automatic behind it, a combination that had been quietly working since 2010. In came a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, an 8-speed, and an optional hybrid. Early owner data on the new one is not alarming, but it is not silent either. 53 complaints filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 20 of them about brakes, typically showing up around 1,150 miles. Owners report a firm ride, and premium fuel is recommended on the turbocharged engine, which quietly cancels a chunk of the fuel economy improvement it was supposed to deliver over the V6. The new SR5 starts at $42,070, plus $1,495 for delivery. Call it $43,500. The top of the range reaches $68,200. And the 4Runner is built in Japan, which means it sits directly in the path of the 15% tariff on Japanese vehicles. Of everything on this list, this is the one most likely to move on Toyota's next price increase. Here is where I land, and it is the whole reason this video exists. A 2024 4Runner, the last year of the 4.0-liter V6, sold for $43,975 new. Today, its resale value is $34,300, trade-in $33,400. It lost 22% in 2 years, which puts it in the best quarter of every 2024 sport utility for holding value. So for about $34,000, you can buy a 2-year-old low-mileage, naturally aspirated, non-hybrid, body-on-frame Toyota with an engine family that has been putting 300,000 miles on itself for 2 decades. No turbocharger. No hybrid battery under the floor. No premium fuel. And it is $9,000 cheaper than the cheapest new one. If you are 62 years old and this is the last vehicle you intend to buy, that is the answer. It is not the exciting answer. I have made the boring choice with my own money most of my life, and I have never once stood in a parking lot regretting it. Verdict, and I will be specific. Hunt a 2022 through 2024 4Runner, SR5 or TRD off-road, under 60,000 miles, with service records. $33,000 to $36,000 is a fair number. Above $38,000 walk. Because there is always another one. Take the 20-point inspection checklist with you and go over it before you talk price, not after. So that is the list. The CHR, the Sequoia, and the electric BZ are the 3 I would leave on the lot. The Corolla Cross Hybrid, the RAV4 Hybrid, the Grand Highlander Hybrid, and a used 4Runner are the 4 I would own. And the 4Runner is where my own money goes. Here are the honest limits of everything I just told you. If you tow heavy, the Sequoia argument changes. If your state still has a strong electric vehicle rebate, the BZ argument softens. And every price in this video is a national figure. Your market may be 5% either side of it. One thing to do this week. Pick the 2 vehicles you are actually considering, and send both dealers the same email asking for the complete out-the-door figure in writing. Do not visit. Do not call. Just send it and see who answers honestly. That one email is worth more than every review you will read this month. Then tell me in the comments what you are driving right now, the mileage on it, and the number the dealer said out loud when you asked about a trade. I read those. And the pattern in them is where half of these videos come from. If this saved you a trip, subscribe. Everything I do here comes down to one idea, which is that nobody should have to lose $3,000 learning something a stranger could have told them for free. If you want the whole system in one place, the habits, the shop scripts, and the checklists, it is at carcarebible.com, and the link is in the description. One last thought. And it is the thing all 7 of these vehicles have been arguing about the whole time. Every vehicle on the good side had a powertrain that had already proven itself somewhere else first. Every vehicle on the bad side was asking you to pay full price today for a promise that has not been tested yet. That is the only real difference between the two halves of this video, and it is the same test that will still work in 10 years when every model name on this list has changed. Next week, Honda. And there is one on their good list that I genuinely did not believe until I checked it twice.